this World Wide Web icon that's over here on the left side. Right now, I have loaded and connected with a class, and I can view each of their screens from this way. If I'm viewing their screens and I want to know exactly what URL they are accessing, I can access the World Wide Web or the globe here, and it will provide a list of those students along with their current website. So I can see that Demo Student 1's on the Granville County Public Schools homepage, 2 is on YouTube, and number 3 is on Amazon. On this World Wide Web icon, you can manage websites. You can manage them in a way that you can approve certain websites and restrict certain websites. So if I want to take the Granville County Schools website and approve it, I can choose the green check mark on the left side. A window will appear and I will select Add. Now GCS, the URL, will appear in my list of approved websites. If I'm looking at YouTube and I want to decide, I'm not going to allow YouTube today, and I would like to restrict it during this lesson, I'm going to access the X block and add the website to the restricted website list. If I want to look at the next student who is on Amazon, and maybe today I want to allow them this approved website, I can select the check mark and add it to my approved website. Please know that these lists are not set in stone. So if I want to change Amazon to a restricted website for a specific lesson, I can highlight it in the approved website list and select the X in the top portion of this block. It's going to ask me, am I sure I want to remove it? And I can say yes. And then from this dashboard, I can just add it to the restricted website side on the left or on the right. So now as I move forward, I want to highlight these tiny options below here: unrestricted, approved only, block restricted, and restrict all. I'll start with restrict all. If you want to restrict all internet access, you can select this icon. Restrict all is the same thing as block all in the top portion of our NetSupport client. So you can select block all or you can select restrict all in this way. You can also select specific students to restrict all access, or you can do this within an entire class. So from here, I can select this icon and choose restrict all, and then I can remove that check mark from Demo Student 3 and move forward as needed with my lesson. If I want to block my restricted websites, so I only want to block for today this list, YouTube as well as Amazon, I can select block restricted, and those items, those students will not be able to access these items. So when I select block restricted, I can see that each of these items are having some changes. So Granville County Schools is allowed, but the internet access blocked to YouTube and Amazon has changed for those two students. So when I look at the thumbnails, I can see that those two have been locked from those restricted websites. So as I go back to this page here, I can then say, I only want to allow approved only websites. So when I select approved only, you're going to see some edits happening here with our current websites again, and it may take a few minutes or so, but some of these, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. And that way, when I refresh this page, and if the student were to go back to, so I'm going to go ahead and select my demo student 2 and 3, and I'm going to send them to my approved only list here, or send them to one of the websites on my approved only list, it will allow for them to make that change. So once I go back to my World Wide Web here, I want to highlight that when I exit out of the NetSupport client, and when I log back into the client, my restricted website list, it becomes cleared. So YouTube as well as Amazon will no longer be there. However, my list of approved websites will remain the same. I think this is due to the fact that if you want to restrict a certain website during a certain lesson, you can do that. But then if you log in or reload the NetSupport client on a different day, those accesses will be available for your students. So this page is where you will create list of approved websites as well as restricted websites for lessons.